We begin at Denver 7 Local 3 with breaking news, and now at 7 a.m. Aurora police are investigating a shooting involving police officers. Also, a fire forced evacuations early this morning at a senior center in Lakewood.
I want to get out to both of our crews on scene there first, starting with Denver 7's Colette Bordelon, who is live on North Idalia Court in Aurora with the latest on that police shooting. Colette.
That's right, and Brian, no officers were hurt in this shooting. Right now, Aurora police are saying the condition of the person who was shot is unknown at this time. They did just send out the first update in a while now on their Twitter feed, saying that they actually won't have an update with details about what led up to this scene for a while this morning. They say they are still investigating and trying to gather more information. But take a look at what the scene is still like this morning. We've seen police come and go. That's all there at the corner of Idalia Court and 13th here in Aurora. Those first reports coming in just before 5 this morning. I've counted at least a dozen different cop cars here on the scene this morning. They are investigating, looking through things. We've seen people come and go, neighbors coming outside wondering what is going on. We spoke with one man who works nearby, and he just says that it was terrifying to hear those gunshots so early in the morning.
I work right here at the Aurora Therapy Center, and we heard some shots. It was kind of scary. This neighborhood lately, it's not safe at all.
He even tells me what he would like to see in this neighborhood is more police presence. He's also hoping that the person who was shot is in a state that they can recover from. But of course, we don't know that right now. We won't know that for a little while, according to Aurora police. All we really know is what we can see right now, and that no officers were hurt. Live in Aurora, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
What a scary scene to wake up to. All right, thank you, Colette. Want to get to Christian Lopez, who's live for us in Lakewood this morning.
Yeah, also a scary wake-up call for residents of a senior living center. Christian, we did get an update on the person who was injured there, a positive update.
Yes, that's right. They were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The fire is out, but firefighters are still working to take out any hot spots, and we are getting a closer look at that fire damage. I want to show you the damage up there on the roof. You can see that in the window below it is where officials say a woman was actually yelling for firefighters. She was calling for help. She was the one that was taken to the hospital. She is expected to be okay. We also spoke with neighbors in the area. One woman told us that she saw smoke and flames this morning, and she was worried because the winds were pretty high this morning, so she was concerned about that. We also are being told that the building is actually inhabitable right now, so many of the residents are actually waiting for family members to pick them up right now, and they're trying to figure out exactly where some of the residents are going to be taken, because they cannot go back into the building because there is too much water and smoke damage. We are going to stay out here and continue following this story for you guys, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation at this time. We are live in Lakewood this morning. I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Christian. You're taking a live look right now from our Mile High camera. Weather-wise, it's calm out there.
Yeah.
You can see the sun coming up, but snow is on the way.
Yeah, really pretty start to our day, but things are going to change here quickly, Lisa.
You know how it can change really within just minutes here in Colorado, and that's what we're going to see this afternoon. Right now, seeing a little light snow moving in from the northern Front Range Mountains. We'll start to see a bit more here within the next couple of hours. I've been watching this shot from Long's Peak. Really pretty in and out of some of the cloud cover and light snow there over the peak, and more to come. Up and through parts of Rocky Mountain National Park, we'll pick up about 3 to 6 inches of snow. Now, temps have dropped. We started this morning off in the 40s. As those winds shifted out of the north, it got a lot colder. We're down to near freezing. We'll briefly warm up into the upper 30s before cooling down again as that snow gets going. And timing wise, you'll see here on Futurecast, it's going to be early afternoon through the brunt of the commute that we're going to see most of the snow. We'll take a closer look at how much we're expecting in your neighborhood, but Jason, get ready for what could be a pretty icy commute tonight.
Oh, most definitely. I think one of the tough areas is going to be over here on I-70 from basically Genesee through El Rancho. Look at the fog that's moving through the low clouds, maybe some of the snow that's already falling here out to the west. So we do have some limited visibility for us going from the Buffalo Herd Overlook all the way out past El Rancho into Floyd Hill. And we also have a high wind restriction as you take a look at the map up along 285 through South Park, Fairplay, all the way down to Antero Junction down here at Highway 24. And because they have the high winds that are rolling through there right now. Right now we have I-25 as you take a look from the camera back at Alameda. Still heavy, especially in that right lane. These folks are trying to get to 6th Avenue. Had a crash right there at that exit ramp, and that's why it's all backed up in here. Still probably not worth an alternate route, but you do see the extra travel time on the map coming up from the south side of town. But the rest of the drive, pretty typical stuff for a Friday. Anywhere else you want to go.
Thank you, Jason. Well, today will be the last day masks are required in Jefferson County Public Schools. The district said their mask mandate will end at midnight, which is a week earlier than planned, but the district said masks are still highly encouraged. Poudre and the Thompson Valley School Districts in northern Colorado are also ending their mask mandates today. Children under 5 could be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine in as little as 10 days. The Pfizer shot still needs to be approved by both the FDA and the CDC, but the announcement comes as a growing number of states start to drop their mask mandates with lower infection rates. ABC's M. Wynn is in Washington as the CDC warns it's still too soon.
COVID-19 vaccines for children under 5 could start arriving at pediatricians' offices as soon as February 21st if the FDA authorizes the formula next week. The federal government already prepping 10 million doses, making sure that once the CDC signs off as well, shipments will be ready to go. Today, 2 states, Delaware and Rhode Island, lifting indoor mask mandates, though keeping school mandates in place at least until March. At least 11 states have announced changes to their masking policies this week, with some governors moving to end indoor mandates and some lifting requirements in schools.
I'm feeling like it's premature.
Our friends and our family all come here, and it's nice to show our smiles to everybody.
All this despite the CDC warning their guidance still stands for most Americans to continue wearing masks in indoor public spaces, including schools.
One of the challenging pieces has been how we make guidance that is general enough so that it can be applied to New York City and rural Montana and Indian country, which is our responsibility, and yet have it be specific enough so that people can get their questions answered.
And a deadline today for roughly 4,000 New York City workers to get vaccinated or face termination.
We are not firing them. People are quitting. You know, the responsibility is clear. We said it. If you hire and you get this job, you have to be vaccinated. If you are not following the rules, you are making that decision.
Hundreds of municipal workers marched across the Brooklyn Bridge in protest. About 95% of city workers have at least 1 vaccine dose. Ahead of next week's FDA meeting on the under 5 Pfizer vaccine, we could learn more from the company today about how well the vaccine works and its safety for this very young population. M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
Well, Homeland Security is warning a coast-to-coast convoy of truckers protesting COVID vaccine requirements in Canada could disrupt several events in the U.S. Right now, the Freedom Convoy is blocking access to the Ambassador Bridge that connects Ontario to Michigan and carries 25% of the trade between the two countries. And Homeland Security says the protest could now head south, impacting things like the Super Bowl this weekend in Los Angeles and then the State of the Union in Washington, D.C. March 1st. Officials don't want you to panic, though. They say right now there is nothing concrete about the plans.
We're learning more about the resignation of a high-level Douglas County Schools official. Special Education Services Officer Sid Rundle resigned Saturday, just hours after the school board voted to fire Superintendent Corey Wise. Denver 7 obtained Rundle's resignation letter. He calls out the board members who voted to fire Wise, writing, "Despite their propaganda, they do not value loyalty, decency, humility, or integrity. Instead, they showed themselves to be firmly yoked to political influence, arrogant ideology, and a disdain for due process." Denver 7 contacted Rundle, but he declined to comment while he is still an employee. His last day is a week from today. Adams 14 will regain full control of its operations today, though it's not clear how long that will last. Last month, the school board voted to end its contract with MGT Consulting, but before that could take effect, MGT decided to exit on its own, effective today. In 2018, Adams 14 became the first district in Colorado to ever be forced into external management after years of low performance. The State Board of Education plans to meet in April to discuss Adams 14's future.
Today, dozens of students in Longmont will get a special surprise. An initiative called Treads and Trail will give 43 first graders a free bike. Volunteers stayed up late last night assembling all the bikes. The organization's goal is to get kids from all backgrounds outside to grow and to learn.
My first feeling of freedom as a kid that I can remember is getting on my bike and riding away from my parents without training wheels for the first time. So being able to give like a kid that experience is like pretty unique.
Yeah, give them some independence. The organization Canned Aid works to help kids across the country connect through cycling. Denver-based Frontier Airlines is getting ready to merge with Spirit Airlines. How many jobs could be coming to the metro if the two decide to keep their corporate operations here?
Michaela Schifrin has 2 more events to go in Beijing. What she had to say after competing in her first ever Olympic Super G event.